I'd never make a DJ, would I? I leave the DJing to DJ Craig in the chat. Hello everyone. How are we all doing? Yes, David. Do excuse the chat on the main screen. Just use the actual YouTube chat, because the chat on the stream seems to show like 2 messages and then doesn't let any more in the queue. I might just make it disappear until I fix it. Let me do that. How are we all doing? Chat, where are you? I've got too many things in OBS. I've got so much going on here. There it is. Right, chat is gone. Right, I hope the levels are okay. That's just a video in the background playing of me today wrapping up the first charity IBM PC, because the charity, yeah, 2 nils don't make a right. The charity IBM PCs go on sale tomorrow. There's 4 reserved for patrons, and that will be an in the hat job. Names out of the hat, in the hat, out the hat. 4 lucky patrons will get them for a discounted patron price, and then the rest will go up as an auction on eBay as of tomorrow, and those auctions will be spread over a week, because you'll get a video next week, but I'm gonna take a week off. And when I say I'm gonna take a week off, you guys know me, it just means I'll be working from home. That's me having a week off. I still work. One day I'll actually take a week off without working, but I've got so much stuff, you know, admin stuff, all sorts of stuff, book stuff, vinyl record stuff. The music you heard in the intro there, as you were waiting for me to come on, that's Hoffman, who did the Rave in the Cave. We've secured funding to have a double vinyl record made of his music. He's going to recreate the Rave in the Cave set on hopefully coloured vinyl with a nice sleeve and all of that business. That's happening, so I'll be working on that next week. All sorts going on. Anyway, who have we got? We got Velociraptor Dave, who says, from experience, if you see 2 Neils, then one is actually Keith. Brilliant. Stog, good to see you there. Andrew is liking the legacy ports. Nice to see you here, Andrew. Holly, hello. We've got a Holly and a Laura. I think that increases our usual female viewing percentage by about 5,000%. So it's good to see you here. Thank you. Chris, Arcade Ages. Hello everyone, look at that bubble wrap. The tea break book situation, David, is still going. You know how whenever you have a project, it's always the last 10% where everything grinds to a halt? That's where we are now. Can you play the music for Space Harrier as background music? I think it's on this mix, Greg. It will come around eventually. So yeah, I'm just grinding out the last bit of the book, and that's something I'll be working on next week, because it really does need my head to be clear. And you know, you get to that point where you just need to give your brain a little bit of a rest. That's where I am at the moment. Just need to have a little bit of a break. A couple of glasses of whiskey, single malt, and then I'll be back on form, and I'll get to work on the book. But girls are retro geeks too, says Holly. And for some reason, YouTube decided that had to be censored, and I had to release that message. See, YouTube is suppressing you. Yeah, this is the first one I wrapped, Paul. So I was kind of figuring out how to do this. Look at that lovely red tape. Anyway, we've got some more videos today. We've got some show and tells. We've got the first of the video game alphabet. Do you remember yesterday I said I wanted your video game starting with the letter A? Well, we got one in. So your mission, all of your missions tomorrow, well, today for tomorrow, is to email me with your video of a game starting with the letter B. retromancave@gmail.com. Put something in the subject to make it stand out. Daily vlog, something like that, all in capitals. But today we've got the letter A. We've got a show and tell from Chrissy. Hi, it's Chrissy. We've got a show and tell from Chrissy. We've got something from Parallax Abstraction over in Canada. We're starting to get some regulars actually who are regularly submitting videos, and it's nice to go back and see more of their stuff. But Custado in the hospital bed. Hang on, mate. I thought you were discharged and you went home with your broken leg. You actually in the hospital? Anyway. Yes, Keith is the man behind the Digital Orphanage. Good channel. We like Keith. He's also a volunteer at the Swindon Computer Museum. So let's start with our A game letter. Good suggestion, Grant. I do like a bit of Arkanoid music. Arcade Ages, so you email retromancave@gmail.com and put your video on Dropbox or any other OneDrive, any other kind of file sharing service. Mega file or whatever it's called. Just send me the link and then I'll download it. Or if you can't do any of that, put it on YouTube. The YouTube ones take me longer because I've got to download them from YouTube and use a tool to do that. But however you can get the videos over to me. Right, our first video comes from Tim, who's given us a room tour. We know Tim. We like Tim. Hello, Tim, if you're there. And he is presenting games beginning with the letter A today from his collection. So let's see what Tim's got for us. As usual, I haven't watched these videos, so I'm watching them for the first time with you. But Tim is a nice man. I'm not expecting any expletives from Tim. So let's see what happens. Hello, Smooth MJ.
Hi, Tim here. I'm picked some games starting with the letter A, which are in my collection, as Neil suggested on.
And as usual, is that audio loud enough? Or do you want me to pop it up a little bit? I think I'll increase it. Let's give it 5 dBs. Ooh, metal plate on your ankle, Custado. You are now twinned with Lily. Ms. Retro Man Cave. She has a metal plate in her ankle. Oh, I'm sorry, she's shouting at me. What's that?
I've got 2 plates.
2 plates.
6 pins.
And 6 pins. She once jumped off of a waterfall in Kenya and shattered her ankle on landing. Apparently it was a very long and bumpy Land Rover ride for over an hour to get to the nearest hospital. Anyway, let's go with Tim's video.
His stream yesterday, and I couldn't sort of decide between these two. So anyway, Age of Empires, what a great franchise, great set of games, and really enjoyed them on PC, and particularly fond memories of playing against my now grown-up children.
Do we have any Age of Empires players here? Do you know, I'm not sure I've ever played an Age of Empires. I was really into Civilization. All of the Tycoon games, especially Transport Tycoon. What's that? Jeff, thank you for the subscription, Jeff. Castles, lots of games like that. I don't think I've actually played Age of Empires. I must have done at some point.
Many years ago. And the other one I picked out is Alien vs Predator for the Jaguar, just because it's a very good game for of its time. 2 great franchises coming together, and should have sold the system, but that wasn't to be. Anyway, that's my letter A. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, and if you want to play the alphabet game, it really is less than a minute. Just show us your games now beginning with B and why you've chosen them. That's it. Send them in. Alien vs Predator on the Jaguar, that would be, it's got to be in the top 3. That would be one of the go-to games for me on the Jag. There's not a lot of great stuff on the Jag, is there? As we discovered when we did our Jag or Atari live stream. there was an awful lot of stuff that was really poorly converted that just used the 68,000, yes, the Motorola 68,000. The whiskey's going to my head. And it was just lazy. It just used that chip rather than using the bazillions of chips that were very complicatedly put into the Jaguar. Things like cannon fodder and things like that. Great game, but they were just straight ports from, you know, the Amiga and the Atari ST. Whereas Alien vs Predator actually pushed the Jaguar somewhat. I mean, it was still a very early game in the Jaguar's short lifetime, so no games, I don't think, really got to that point of maturity where they really pushed the system and showed us what it could do. But it gave us a flavour. Chris says they should combine these games. Age of Empires versus Alien versus Predator. I mean, you could have a really good real-time strategy game where the teams are aliens and predators. That would work. Velociraptor, I can't wait to show you the D. Behave. Dungeon Master is the best game ever made. Well, if you show me your D, I'll show you my D, because I've got the Psygnosis release of Dungeon Master on the Amiga, which is a rarer boxed copy. Smooth MJ, AVP made me get a Jag, everything else made me sell it. Jaguar 32 or 64-bit discuss. Well, that feeds into the same conversation we had recently, Chris, where people were telling me off for calling the PC Engine 8-bit because the cluster of video chips were 16-bit and all of the rest of it. For me, it comes down to the CPU, the main CPU. Like I said the other day, when you put a 3DFX, a Voodoo 1 card into your PC, it didn't suddenly become a 128-bit computer. You are most welcome, Super Grover. Hello and welcome. I don't think I've seen you in the live chat before. It's good to see you here live. I'm not drunk. This is my first glass. I don't stream. Something's wrong with it. Oh, sorry. Sorry about the music. Sorry about the music. I've got this thing where if I don't mute one, you get doubling up music and all the rest of it. My OBS is a pretty amateur affair, the setup, but we get by. Okay, so we've got another video. Chris knows people get very animated at the mention of Jaguar bits. Yeah. There are many animated people. Do you know what? My comment section on YouTube, on the whole, is really pleasant and full of nice people. But sometimes it gets animated. And there have been one or two occasions, I'm going to confess this, where when making a video, I've thought, I've just said something ridiculous. Because I'm not working from a script. Most of the time you see me on the camera, I'm just working from bullet points. I'm not working from an auto cue or a script. Sometimes, like on the more in-depth ones like the BBC Micro videos, I'm using an auto cue, but most of the time I've just got my bullet points and I'm just talking, and then I go back and I edit it, and what stays in stays in. There have been occasions, once or twice, where I've said something ridiculous and thought, do you know what, I'm going to leave that in and see if it prompts some discussion. And it usually does. You know, I'd never say anything wrong, knowingly wrong, when I'm giving a tutorial or anything like that. But when I'm just talking about matters of opinion, you know, sometimes I'll leave something in just as a little spiky comment to get a bit of engagement, to get people chatting. And it's usually a nice chat. You know, people don't get too heated on my comments. Chris is still trying to get me to buy a Stream Deck. I did look them up, Chris. I can't justify £140 is kind of the price that you're looking at for a Stream Deck. I think it would be better if I took, I don't know, a keyboard encoder, a bunch of micro switches, drilled a load of holes, put a load of arcade buttons in a bit of wood, and then just assigned the keys to WAV files. I could do that for, you know, less than a tenner, rather than 140 quid on a Stream Deck. Might be a good build for the second channel. And I would use genuine Sanwa arcade parts. Grant says, what show and tell items do you think folks want from me other than playing a piano? Well, we want an hour of you playing the piano, Grant. All of the songs you know. And then just, there are no rules to the show and tells. I mean, obviously we're working through the alphabet game now, so if you want to think ahead and come up with a C game or a D game or an E game, hey Neffers, then send that in. But otherwise, just talk about things that make you happy. Because we're all in this together, we're all in this lockdown situation. So share what makes you happy, and I guarantee you it will make other people happy. You like the idea of that build? We can do that. Well, there goes my week off. I'll be building my own Stream Deck. Right, let's see what we got next. We've got Parallax, our regular friend from Canada, is going to show us a 2-minute video of, just as I was explaining to you, Grant, a bit of software that makes him happy for no particular reason other than it makes him happy. So let's have a little look at this.
Hey, what's up, Cave Dwellers? Parallax Abstraction here with another little collection oddity for you. This is something I'm really happy that I found in sealed condition on eBay a little while ago. I gotta fix the bottom of this wrapper here. But this is the Newsroom. And this sort of holds a fondness for me because I used this a lot back in my elementary school days. It's a piece of software.
Hang on, let's just see the examples we've got on here. Obviously, it's some kind of desktop, early desktop processing software. We've got the Flying Lemon Meringue Pie. Bulldog takes a bite out of Bayview. Nominations for Student Council this week. Wanted volunteers to help paint the computer centre. Don't litter the halls with cookies. Obviously a problem in that school. And then we've got a good example of mansplaining over here. And an old school telephone there. Nice. DTP, I mean, what was your first experience of DTP? I think it was probably the BBC Micro stuff, but that was very limited, as I imagine the Newsroom was. And then the first time I really started working on what you'd call WYSIWYG software, in terms of desktop processing, and it wasn't a desktop processor, was AMI Pro, more of a word processor, but you know, you could put your clip art in there and you could lay out school newsletters and things like that. That's probably when I started using it in earnest, and then of course Microsoft Office came along and took over. But AMI Pro was a great bit of software. Anyway, let's carry on.
For home computers, this is the Commodore version, that allowed you to, well, as you can see, make your own newspaper. It was like a very light desktop publishing tool. Came with a bunch of really cool clip art and stuff. I used this a ton and actually made a school newspaper on this a few times. I have a lot of hours in this tool. But yeah, it's kind of neat. Actually comes in this really nice, like, solid plastic shell box. Quite like this, actually. You don't see this kind of thing too much anymore. And this was educational software, but it was sold to home users as well. It wasn't just for school. I love how they say for journalists of all ages. I can't see my local paper using something like this. But yeah, I got this copy on eBay a few years ago, and it's in perfect condition. You know, the floppies and the cases aren't even dirty. I don't know if this was ever actually used even by the person who sold it.
Look how happy that kid is. Loving it. So your examples, your first experiences of DTP, Castada used Calamus on the ST. I've not heard of that one. PageMaker, yeah, I've heard of that one. What else have we got? Calamus and PageStream 2 for quality results, in quotes. PageMaker. MS Front Page. Wasn't Front Page HTML editor? I think it was. Because Microsoft Publisher would have been their DTP. Microsoft never really came out with a professional DTP program, did they? Publisher was for kids. What else have we got? I have no idea if this is of interest, but homeschooling today was me teaching my son BBC Micro Basic. He made a game. Was that on a BBC Micro, or were you just using BBC Basic on, say, a Pi or something like that? Chris used Final Copy and Final Writer. Quark Express, I used to support that. My first experience of that was, you're supporting this now, Neil. I better learn the product that I'm supporting. Quark Express was very, very precise. That was a proper professional package. I liked that. Hello, Ralph. Serif. Oh, Claris Works. There's a blast from the past, Chrissy. Claris Works. I'm pretty sure I got that on a cover disc. Oh, that's made me all nostalgic. More so than normal. Publisher for creating upbeat funeral invites. Yeah. Using the clip art, Man with Too Many Hats. That was my favourite piece of clip art from the Microsoft products. Man with Too Many Hats. Right, let's carry on.
But yeah, it was made by this company called Springboard from, I believe it was Minnesota, and they were bought by one company that merged into another company and that eventually became the Learning Company. But they had add-ons for this too, which I don't actually have. But they had like basically clip art collections that you could buy. Man, remember clip art? Boy, that was a thing for a long friggin' time, wasn't it?
We got a nice Porsche in there, and a trombone, and a banana, a golfer, all sorts of clip art. You know, there was a period where you could just get clip art basically for free on cover discs, thousands and thousands of pieces of it. And if you start looking for it today, everyone is trying to charge for it. You'll end up on these websites where you have to take out a subscription and pay for so many downloads. And, you know, even clip art is being monetized now. Man, I sound like an old man. Even clip art's being monetized.
Yeah. So I don't actually have any of these, but I might look at that. And yeah, Springboard made a whole bunch of other educational stuff here, a lot of publishing stuff and some educational games in that. But yeah, this was a pretty beefy application that you could do a lot with. As you can see, it's got a pretty significant manual here, as well as the very important registration card. I'll get right on that. But yeah, this came out in the 80s. I want to do a video on it someday, but yeah, it'll be an interesting one to make because this is not really a traditional game, but something that is very, very nostalgic for me and holds a place in my heart for sure. It's a really cool product. So that's just another neat thing I thought I'd show you guys. And thanks for watching, and take care, folks.
Cool. Well, thank you for that, Parallax Abstraction. Obviously, he put a lot of hours into that back in the day. So that holds a place for him, even though it means nothing to me. The Newsroom, I can relate through the products that I use, so it's clear that it means something to him. But I wonder if he fired it up, would he remember all the shortcuts? Would he still be able to use it? It's funny how quickly that stuff leaves your brain. Nefa's PD libraries were like 70% clip art. Yeah, that's true. And somebody mentioned word art. Yeah, Richard's mentioned it again there, word art for all of your homework needs. Sometimes, it's rare now, but sometimes you do still see a bit of word art. And I also love the use of Comic Sans in inappropriate situations, like, I don't know, funeral programs. They're not programs, are they? The running order, whatever you call them. Yeah, Comic Sans used inappropriately. Plenty of examples of that. So there you go, that was a show and tell for no reason other than he just wanted to show us that. And again, I invite you all to send in anything that you want to show and tell, as Chrissy has done in the chat. Let's load this up. Chrissy wants to show us something to do with zip disks. I mean, maybe he's doing the alphabet game backwards, starting with Z. Wordstar, even in the Eggman, David remembers /B for bold. On a gravestone, Costardo. I would love to see Comic Sans on a gravestone. In fact, I'm going to put that in my will, I insist. Here lies Retro Man Cave in Comic Sans. Ralph says my logo is Comic Sans. Well, that's not necessarily inappropriate. I mean, Comic Sans suggests, you know, a jolly time, something happy. Hymn sheets in Wingdings. I once sent a friend a letter. So when I was a kid, he left school to move to another school like 50 miles away. So we got his address, and all of his old friends and I sent him a letter, 2-page A4 letter in Wingdings. It must have taken him all day to decode it. Anyone remember Peacock PCs, says Classic Trials channel. I still have my P75 boxed in the spare room with Win7. Yeah, I remember Peacock PCs. It's a name I haven't heard for a long time. It's not something you really see on YouTube, Peacock PCs. Anyway, let's see what Chrissy's got to show us. And I really hope that it's going to start with, "Hi, Chrissy here," because that's becoming his catchphrase. He's put the text on the screen. But he hasn't actually said it. "Hi, it's Chrissy." Chrissy doesn't want to talk today. Chrissy, you've gone shy on us. But that is some very skilled one-handed cutting. Oh, we've gone into fast forward. We've got some video editing going on as well. Hello, Matt. It is old school encryption, Neffers. So who had a zip drive? Specifically here we've got a zip 100 drive. I had one, and do you know what? It was right at the time when I was learning to code, C programming and then Pascal. Yeah, because I did C and then Pascal because of college reasons. And then COBOL. It kind of went backwards in time and then back to C. But I used to keep all of my source code on 100 meg zip disks. And then I just threw them away. I wish I still had them. And also the first ever MP3s that I had, encoded from my own CDs, I used to keep on zip disks because I used to be amazed by how many albums you could put on a zip disk. Behave, Dave. These are sealed. These are all brand new. I mean, people sometimes talk about the click of death with zip drives, but I never had that problem. Oh, there's a broken case. I never had that problem. I think it was with the later drives that they were built to a slightly lower standard. But my early drive, it was spot on. It was more efficient, Saint UK, than writing to a CD. Oh god, there goes half the case. Very skillfully done, Chrissy. Imagine how quickly you could have done that with 2 hands. Okay, so it's an external one, I'm guessing parallel. Oh, okay, he's already been navigating directories there on the E drive, so he's got a games folder. He's got Lotus on there. Flame Lily has some rev drives. Yeah, I once installed a rev drive in a server for a company that didn't want to. Well, there's the music. Didn't want to splash out on proper LTO drives. You know, LTO being really the proper standard that businesses used back then, and still do. So they went for rev drives, and it took a bit of scripting to get the drives to mount properly when the removable. What were the revs? The revs were like half a hard drive, weren't they? Split in 2. I think that was the rev drive. Or was it still tape? I can't remember. Anyway, it took some scripting with backup exec to actually detect that the tape had been changed. It was a bit of a pain. Should have just stuck with LTO. Hello, Mean Machine Dean. I was waffling there. This is coming out of your sound canvas, is it? Let me just rewind. Yes. Oh, an MT32. Not even a sound canvas. A proper old school MT32. Nice. You want the horn? Didn't we have, we had the Jazz Drive came after the Zip Drive, wasn't it? And the Ditto, yeah. And then I'm pretty sure the Rev was the hard drive based one. And then a bit further down the line, I once supported a company that had a carousel that took 10 Rev discs. It was in Germany. Where was it? It was in Hamburg, at the Hamburg Dungeons. Or was it? Yeah, I think it was. And I had to go out because it stopped working. And I went out and it wasn't changing the tape, so I had to take the lid off. Oh, bye! Oh yeah, remember it used to spit the discs out. So I took the lid off of this carousel and it was like a child's train set inside, just sort of trundling the tapes around. It was such consumer grade equipment compared to what you would find from HP or someone else like that at the time. And I literally just kind of put the tapes back on the train track and then it worked again. It was terrible, but I enjoyed my trip to Germany to fix it. So thank you for that, Chrissy. What are you going to do with your 10 new zip disks, Chrissy? And there's also, what's this? Is that an MPC2? That looks like a very early CD drive. That looks like the kind of CD drive that used to be paired up with an MPEG card or something like that. Tell us about that, Chrissy. So Flame Lily's confirmed, yes, Rev was hard drive based, yeah. Ditto was just an iAmega branded Travan. Oh, I remember the Travan drives, yeah. They were okay. Richard was using CDRWs. Yeah, I mean, different needs really. The CDRWs weren't really suited for anything in business backup world that I was talking about, other than the very smallest of backups. It just, yeah, just wasn't. Tapes just offered so much more, and still do. Tapes still very much have a place. For 6 months, I had a 6-month contract once as a backup administrator. My sole job was backups for Merlin Entertainments, who own Madame Tussauds and Chessington World of Adventures, Alton Towers, all of those places. So for 6 months solid, my only job was making sure all the theme parks and Sea Life centres and all of that were backed up. Was it an exciting job? No. But it served its purpose. It fed into a permanent contract after that. And it was using a terrible piece of software, Microsoft's. Oh, the one that feeds into System Center. DPM? Microsoft DPM. Data Protection Manager. And it was like the first version. So basically, my entire backup system was built on PowerShell scripts to detect when it had fallen over, which it did all day, every day, rectify the problem, and restart the backups. It was just an entire wall of PowerShell scripts all day, and then they fed into Excel spreadsheets so that the managers could have their traffic lights. Managers love traffic lights. Red, orange, or green if the backup was successful for all the sites. Yes, it was definitely grandfather, father, child setup going on there. I mean, DPM showed potential, but back in those early versions, it was painful. It gave you very little information unless you PowerShelled it. Hopefully it's matured into a better product, or just disappeared. Oh, Holly, you migrated Merlin's backups over to Avamar. There you go. I was only there for 6 months. Don't hold anything against me that you found. Huge company, Merlin. I don't know how they're managing with the current lockdown. It must be hitting their business hard. But I worked for them from 2001 to 2005, and then again from 2010 to 2013. So I did about 7 or 8 years with them. Very different companies. Second time round, they'd bought out Two Swords, and they were a much bigger company. When I started with them, they were a tiny company. They just had like 20 Sea Life centres, so huge company now. Anyway, is that all our videos for today? Let's just check. It is. That's all our videos for today. What is it you do, Holly, by the way? Is it all about the backups, or do you do other stuff as well? Novell Netwear, yes. I migrated a holiday park over from Novell to, it would have been Microsoft Server 2003 then. Because Novell was so much better. But then when Microsoft started to kick in with Active Directory rather than that business they had going on with NT4, it was a game changer. I've still got a little book. I've still got my Novell Dictionary of Networking, which I dip into from time to time when I want to look up old networking terms. Have you run out of Cave Tour videos? Yeah, that's everything that's in the inbox at the moment, Dave. Parallax Abstraction has actually sent 3 videos in, but I thought I'd spread those out, so I just showed you his DTP program today. So yes, I am in need of Cave Tour videos, please. IPX networks, yeah. Yes, Chris, it's the same PC. Group-wise, yeah. When I went to that holiday park I mentioned, it was all Novell, and then they had Lotus. What was the Lotus software that sat on top of it? Doing the email and the diaries and everything. It was proper old school. Anyway, we moved them over to Exchange. Steve W, you sent one over. Let me have a little look in my email. Bear with. It is a very busy mailbox, so I do apologise to anyone. And I encourage you to shout at me. Oh, there's the news. Yeah, if I've missed you, don't be offended, just shout. I should probably set up a separate mailbox for all this business. It's a bit slapdash. Yeah, Lotus Organizer. Do you remember that? It opened up and it actually looked like a little paper organizer with pages, a spine down the middle. There's your video, Steve. You know what? If you're in the mood, I'm in the mood. Let's get it downloaded. This will be the last one for today. See how big the file is. Oh, that's an error. Come on, Google, help me out here. Okay, well, it doesn't want to download, but it will play it directly in the web browser, so that's fine by me. Get over here. Okay, let's give this a go. So this is a video from Steve W in the chat, and he's got a Rotronics Wafer drive for wafer thin gaming. And a 6128. I like it already.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to show off my mess. So, nothing's particularly well organised in here, but I kind of know where everything is. My white cased Spectrum on one of my Amstrads.
Oh, a white-cased Spectrum. That's very attractive. We've got an NES Mini. Oh, no, that's the Pi case, isn't it? That's the Raspberry Pi case, I think.
Atari 2600 and the Spectrum Plus 2A. SX20 Pro Speed laptop, which
A what?
I bought new old stock and took
Still in
about
its box.
70 capacitors to actually get running again.
Oh, good job.
And on top of that, the world's coolest little multimeter.
Ah, Sinclair branded multimeter. Just one wafer thin game, sir. What have we got? An Amstrad NC100. 100 points to Gryffindor for the RMC calendar there. Spotted that. Sinclair QL is something on my shelf which I need to fix, but I don't have the box. That's nice. With a 1-year guarantee. A couple of Electrons. And I think that looks like a Acorn branded cassette deck. Let's find out.
Yeah, my Sinclair QL, a couple of Electrons, my Beeb, one of my all-time favourite computers.
He's got the proper micro user dust cover as well. That's satisfying. A couple of disk drives. One still with the paper protective thing in there. Oh, this is good stuff.
Couple more Spectrums in there, and the only CRT in the house. And yes, that is a CRT.
We had one of those yesterday. Now, who gave us a tour? Somebody gave us a room tour yesterday or the day before, and they had one of these, and I've got one of these as well, but my one doesn't work. Does yours work, Steve? I haven't got to looking at mine yet. A very kind chap by the name of Kevin Wiltshire, who won't be watching. He's normally watching, but his fiance's just given birth today. So when you do get round to watching this, congratulations, Kevin. He sent that in to me, and I need to get to look at it at some point.
More Spectrums.
The QL did not run the same software as the Speccy. It was aimed more at the business market. Different CPU.
My Dragon.
Nice.
More Spectrums.
And this is that's another QL there. You can just see the wafer drives that it ran software from.
I may have a problem. Amstrad. ZX81.
Lots of boxes.
Another Electron. Video Pack, which is a computer that doesn't seem to get a lot of love in the community, and I don't know why, because I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I've got one of those, and I've got tons of games for it. Doesn't work. Again, it's in my list of things to look at. It's a repackaged Magnavox Odyssey 2, I think that's right, but don't quote me on it.
That is my baseball bat, in case anyone breaks in. My 800XL, which, thanks to the previous owner's packaging, turned up as a jigsaw puzzle.
I've got the same problem. A 400XL, which has turned up, and the plastic that covers the vents is just a jigsaw puzzle. It's just caved in and smashed. So I'm either going to have to carefully piece them back together, or have I mentioned a million times lately that I've got a 3D printer? Any excuse. But actually, to redo that, I'd probably need some kind of laser scanner to work out the hole precisely and recreate it.
There's discs and controllers, and my Atari printer, which is the noisiest thing you ever heard. Some consoles, so PlayStation, PlayStation 2.
Just in case you didn't see this, let me pop this up on the screen from my Twitter account. I took delivery of a couple of PlayStations today. A PlayStation 2 Fat, a ton of games, and this bronze or gold, if you like, PlayStation. Looks pretty snazzy, doesn't it? Until you realise it's completely yellowed, but strangely really consistently yellowed, like in an attractive way. But that's just sun damage. Crazy, huh? I kind of wish it had done the underside. Can you just leave it in a window for another 10 years upside down? Anyway.
Xbox, couple of 360s and a Dreamcast. Over here is
What
my
is that?
work laptop, because like many people, I am having to work from home at the moment.
I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in that. What's that? It looks like a Specky clone. Show us.
Under here, my ZX80
nice.
lurks. On the desk, I've got my Oral. I'm getting some good gaming out of this thing
An oral. I'm none the wiser.
at the moment. Anyway, thank you very much for the opportunity to show, and take care, everyone.
You've left me on a cliffhanger. What the hell is an oral? No.
To show
Zoom.
and,
Enhance. What is an oral, Steve? Steve W, are you still in the chat? Tell us about the oral. We need to know. Serial Dave, yeah, it really does look spray painted, doesn't it? An Oral BK08 Russian Specky clone. I thought it might be a clone, but as Russian clones go, that looks pretty well made. Like, the keyboard actually looks usable. Some of them are awful. You know, can you actually type on that keyboard nicely? Because some of them also look nice, but you press a key and they just stay down, and then you have to slap them to get the key to bounce back. Yeah, I've not heard of that one, despite having researched Soviet Sinclairs in the past, but there are so many of them, you know, hundreds of the damn things. Yeah, as Dave says, you need to do a show and tell on it. If you want to come back to us with another video, just showing us this in more detail, I'm certainly interested. Love to see more of that. It's got reed switches, nice. Yeah, please do show us a little bit more. Show us something running on it. Good. Right, this has gone on for way longer than our normal daily live chats, but I very much enjoyed it. Thank you for hanging out, everyone. At this point, I should probably say, if you're new here, like and subscribe and all that business, but I think I know everyone in the chat. It's the cave dwellers, it's the usual crew. So thank you for taking the time to hang out, everyone. And Steve says, happy to. Yes, great. Thank you. Look forward to that video. Okay. Let's go and recharge my glass. Have a lovely evening, everyone. And I'll speak to you tomorrow when we've got the usual... Okay, tomorrow we've got the RMC video releases. We've got the patron early access release. If you're not already a patron, feel free to sign up and you get everything a week early without adverts. And we've got the eBay auctions going live for the IBM PCs. And we've got the diary. We've got the live chat again. So it might be really nice actually to get the auction up tomorrow. That will go up at 3 when the video goes out. And then during the live chat we can check in on the auction, just see how it's doing. That'd be cool. Okay, take care everyone. Good night, good morning, good day. See you tomorrow. Bye bye. Oh, he's waving. Got to do the wave. He's waving. Oh, and we didn't do Gizmo. And there's a cat. Always the cat. She is alive. Bye bye.